Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Well, I'm back on these LS heads, and I'm going to show you what I did. I took the swirl ramp out and leveled this back. This is where the swirl ramp would be. And I blended where the swirl ramp was and tapered it all into the bowl here. And a lot of people might think, well, why would you do that? Well, I think it's unnecessary. I don't need a swirl ramp in these heads because this engine is going to be turning about 7,000 RPMs and have a load of nitrous on it. And I don't need factory ideas in a racing head. And to me, this is going to be a racing head when I'm finished. Why do I say that? Well, because this head here is a racing head. And it surely doesn't have a swirl ramp in it. And you'll say, yeah, but it's not an LS head. The LS head was designed with a swirl ramp. And I don't know if that's good to take that out. Well, I have a different way of looking at things, guys, like I always tell you. And because it's an LS head, this head doesn't know it was born with a swirl ramp in it. I'm getting a pretty nice bowl area here. The bowl is starting to come around pretty good. But you have to be careful here, fellas, if you ever do a pair of these heads, because the bowls are thin. And the LS heads are thin in a lot of different areas. I can't point that out right now. But I think the information is out there on these heads. A lot of people run them. And anybody wants to port a pair, you always want to find out where your areas are that you'll get yourself in trouble if you try to do too much. Because the LS head, you just want to enhance things. You don't really want to go crazy, except for the fact that you're just trying to taper stuff in and just make them better in a few spots, to be honest. But one thing I did want to say, the short side, I see guys cut this back. I seen a guy that's on YouTube that he does racing heads, full-blown race heads all the time. And he prides himself on cutting the short turn back on every head. And he brags about how wide the short turn radius is on his Brodax heads, on every head that he sells. He shows that. And to me, that's not a good idea. I don't know why you would do that on every head, not knowing what RPM band that engine's going to be in, for one. And just to automatically do that to a head, to me, well, I have a different way of looking at that. But to me, that would be a mistake. And, you know, one thing people don't talk about is this. If your car has an automatic in it, and another car has a stick in it, a manual, 4-speed or a 5-speed, are them heads supposed to be done the same way? I don't think so. Because an automatic transmission is always going to be under a load. A stick shift car, no matter how fast you shift that car, it has to recover through the gear changes. So, cutting that short side back too far can actually hinder that instead of helping it. You're supposed to pick up RPM cutting the short turn back. That's for top end power, most cases. But my opinion is this. The LS head's already a decent head. So, if anything, all I would do is just taper the floor into the sidewalls, just to make it even and taper it in nice. I don't think it helps cutting it back, and I don't see many scenarios where it helps cutting a head back here. I haven't seen it help any head that I've done, that I've seen. So somebody might say, well, we did my heads and it helped it. I picked up mile per hour. I did this and I did that. Well, you might be okay with big compression and turning the motor real high, and you might not notice that hurting anything, because that's what that's going to accommodate when you do work like that. But you keep an engine around 6,000 RPMs and start cutting these areas back and see how that head will actually be worse than it was from the factory. That's my opinion. And that's all it is my opinion, guys. I'm just trying to put it out there because, like I said, if you can take a stock head off of a Corvette and it already makes 500 horsepower, so what more would you have to do to the short side to improve it if that engine's already turning 6,500 or 7,000 from the factory? Are you going to turn the engine 9,000 RPMs? I don't think so. Most guys actually keep these engines down on the low side. I said most people, not me. We're going to be turning this thing up. And that's why I'm doing this stuff. But you know what I'm not doing, guys? Just like I'm talking about. I'm not cutting back a short turn. I don't think it's going to help it. And that's just my opinion. Somebody else, like I said, might say, no, that does help. And that's fine. But I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And one more time, I'm going to show you this head. And then I'm going to show you the Ford racing head. Well, it's for a Ford. It's not a Ford. It's a Patriot head. But, yeah. So, just to give you guys an idea about taking the swirl ramp out. And like I said, I've never seen a pair of Burdax heads with a swirl ramp. I've never seen a pair of AFRs with a swirl ramp. I've never seen any aftermarket head with a swirl ramp. If you have, and it works, that's good. But as for me, fellas, she's gone. And that's how it's going to be. But anyway, fellas, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to check this segment out. And any questions or comments, just jot it all down on video here, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. All right, everybody, have a good night. Take care and God bless.